I'm looking here at the link between past trauma and weight gain. It's a common issue amongst people seeking to lose weight in my clinic, and this is because there are physiological changes post-trauma that favour weight gain over the longer term. It's generally accepted that individuals with past trauma can use food as a maladaptive coping tool, and so weight gain tends to follow. But this theory overlooks the physiological processes that occur in individuals who experience trauma. These processes favour fat storage and drive food cravings, and they can lead to disordered eating and weight gain. In some cases, obesity is the result. The mechanisms driving these processes make controlling weight and managing food intake difficult. The consequence of this can be feelings of shame and failure when you're relying on willpower alone, because willpower is not enough when your body's own physiology is working against you. Trauma and stress will disrupt the nervous system, and this can affect how metabolism is regulated. Initially, people might experience some weight loss during or after trauma, and this is usually driven by adrenaline release and a decrease in appetite. But the effects tend to be short-lived as cortisol release takes over. And cortisol has a significant effect on food choice. It leads to cravings for high energy and sweet and starchy foods. High cortisol levels promote fat storage, encouraging your body to store that extra energy for the tough times it senses. Cortisol release promotes fat storage in the abdominal area specifically, and high cortisol can also damage cells, making them less receptive to insulin. The release of inflammatory cytokines post-trauma also prevents insulin from being taken up by the cells. Insulin resistance appears more frequently in people that have experienced traumatic events. The combination of insulin resistance and high cortisol creates the perfect environment for weight gain. They create a very tricky hurdle to overcome when you're trying to lose weight through willpower alone. The deposition of excess fat around the midsection is particularly harmful to health. As we know, this can predispose an individual to the development of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. Another obstacle is that as weight increases, the fat cells themselves become metabolically active. These cells stimulate and perpetuate inflammatory processes that can affect weight. It's a vicious cycle where weight increases and consequently so does inflammation, which encourages more fat to be stored as excess weight. There's the hunger hormone ghrelin, which also rises along with cortisol. It sends a signal to your brain that you need to eat. This hormone also rises when we go on a diet and reduce calories significantly. So it's a big player in our appetite. As stress hormones continue to be high, our cells become much less sensitive to leptin, and leptin is the hormone that signals we've eaten enough. Overeating is a common indication that our cells have actually become leptin resistant. As well as driving cravings, these processes can all affect energy levels. The cells don't respond appropriately to signals, and this can lead to poor energy production, so we end up feeling sluggish and lethargic. And we'll reach for sugary food or energy-dense food to stimulate energy levels during the day. It becomes a habit, and you might end up relying on these just to get through the day. Trauma can also create conditions that can change the composition of our gut bacteria. It can lead to lower diversity, and there can be the potential for pathogenic bacteria to spread and take hold in the gut. This can affect weight, and it also affects our mental and cognitive health through neurotransmitter production and inflammatory signal via that vagus nerve that links our gut and our brain. Trauma and stress create clear biochemical dysfunction, and that drives disordered eating patterns and overconsumption of food. Yet the conventional opinion is that lack of willpower is a driver that causes and maintains obesity and weight gain. Nutritional and lifestyle interventions help to regulate the body's stress responses, and so this is an appropriate therapy for individuals with past trauma and ongoing weight issues.